What's up, everybody? So, where is it that we're heading? Where are things going exactly? What is it that we, as the inheritors, the next inheritors of this earth, what is it that we are hoping to reclaim? Sometimes I wonder, the baby boomers as a generation were the inheritors and the recipients of the American dream. I mean, the main inheritors of the American dream. What I find interesting about that is how it didn't it doesn't seem in their interest to have there doesn't seem to be, a connection between the prosperity that they experienced and any desire to see the same for either their kids or grandkids. Can anyone explain why that is? I mean, we have the generation who managed to collect the nearly the majority of American wealth. And on top of that, they lived a lower inflation lifestyle. They were able to collect, I mean, if you go into a baby boomer home for the purposes of an estate sale, what's interesting is that these people stored up treasures upon treasures. I mean, it really is unreal the kind of things that you can find from that generation. I mean, one, I'll hand it to them. They were really great at collecting stuff. I mean, they clearly have an eye for value. But the thing is, they are they are the sole beneficiaries of a society that they are the least likely to feel the collapse from. Now, I'm not talking about all baby boomers. I mean, in fact, if you're a member of the baby boomer class who, for one reason or another, was unable to remain or to be part of that wealth building class, you are you may be in trouble. I mean, you as a society, as a tier of your generational class, you are at risk of not having a home in your golden years. To me, that is anti-American. What is it that we're hoping to get from the society? How does our society change as the baby boomers move on from this life? As we know, you can't take these things with you, your collections, your treasures. You can store them, but the reality is that you have to give them up when you leave Earth. So when we look at these things, you know, it boggles me to think about why these people, this upper tier of this generational class, why they're so interested in collecting things. The materialism is out, it's a notable materialism that we see from the baby boomer generation. And I'm talking about the upper tier, right? The upper tier of the generation. The people who had the means and spent the means and collected with no intent to distribute, even in many cases to their own family. Like, have you talked to a Gen Xer? The Gen Xers, I mean, the most disaffected group of people. I mean, not only do they not want to be like their parents, it doesn't seem like their parents, I mean, did their parents really give them a chance to develop, the means of prosperity? Did they share any of their wealth building tips? Or did they just blame the younger generational classes for their inability to grapple the economy in the same way? I mean, it's quite curious. What is it that they hope to gain from the world that they built? It's concerning. And I know a lot of great Gen Xers. Gen Xers are really cool, really great people. And my belief is, if we can find, I mean, as if we have an opportunity, I mean, and it all, of course, all change starts at the local level. For some reason, as Americans, we kind of go through these waves of, like right now, virtually, if you're a slave to the two-party system, if you are a two-party system stooge, then anytime your quote-unquote party takes control of the federal government, uh, takes control of the federal government, you become a stooge, and you are permissive to activity that allows people not of your political ilk to be stomped all over. I mean, it shows that America has been sick for a long time. The fact that we live in a time and a place where you can't have friendships with somebody who is of a separate political affiliation, who has differentiating ideas about, you know, concepts of our pop culture, our politicized pop culture, really, uh, it really undermines our fabric. It destroys everything that we believe America is. What's interesting is we look at you look at 2001. We look at how it was the the events, right, of September of 2001 that galvanized Americans. At that point, not all Americans, right? I mean, we are, as Americans, not only are we susceptible to to severe propaganda, which has only gotten worse over time, and we can discuss the reasons why we are more susceptible and inundated with propaganda now than ever before. But the facts are that in 2001, it felt good to be an American, so to speak. It clearly defined boundaries, clearly defined enemies, helped us to understand. It gave us an equilibrium, and now we're at a point where the American equilibrium is destroyed. We're not friends. Not only do Americans in general, on average, have fewer friendships than ever, right? So you increasing isolation, reduced social diversity of opinion. And I know there may be some people who hear this and they say, "Oh, diversity," right? But do we understand that even if we choose to call it by another name, which I find, it's acceptable, the reality is that America never was a homogenous society. I mean, that's just a fact. We're not a homogenous people. And so as a result, we we offer unique perspectives that are welcomed into one another's lives. We're not we have never been in a point in our lives where we were expected to agree with every opinion that somebody else may generate. And think about this. Are we truly at a time and place where we have quality of opinion? I mean, what percentage would you say of our opinions are actually, in many ways, manufactured by outside entities? Is it still, I mean, do we believe in having our own opinions? I find it hard to believe. In a sense, we have been engineered, right? We've been engineered to believe or to hold opinions that we can be appreciated or elevated for. We want to have opinions that we can be um, accepted for. We want to be accepted for our opinions. Now, more and more so, it seems that this is something that is less grounded in reality than ever before. Imagine someone posts an opinion online. In today's society, we live in a time and age where much of our digital interaction is artificial. It's artificial. And so, based on the fact that we're holding conversations with artificial personas, even personas that can make us feel good, oh, we believe this about, we have similar beliefs in this area, or whatever. The idea is that now someone can be completely isolated inside of a digital environment and never really understand their isolation, actually be you know uh to use the language of like of the modern news media, you know the opinions that are being cultivated within artificial society in some cases may actually solidify beliefs that in some ways are extreme. Is it possible that we're prevented from general discourse in some cases? What about in discourse that can be resolved in a way that makes us stronger and closer as a community, as a society? I don't know. I think we're in a danger zone. Americans, we gotta come back into friendships, real world friendships. The digital age is killing us. We have to go back to being with people in real life. Now we're so susceptible to controversy that we can be baited into controversy, into conflict in a digital environment with artificial personas. How much of your life could you even estimate to date that you've spent arguing with an artificial persona? I mean, that's what they expect from us. We can be baited into artificial arguments with bots. And I know that most people actually deserve better than that. So, Americans, let's find a way to come together. Let's bring back civility. Let's bring back friendship. Let's dial back on the social media because it's actually killing us. What does victory mean in today's society? If we live in an age where the people who had the most economic opportunity at end stage are willing to separate themselves not only from their children and grandchildren, but even their generational peer class to solidify their power, we can't be made. We are. It creates a situation where we're unable to unify. So I don't know. This one probably is a little bit more of a ramble. Listen, baby boomers, we need you guys to include us in our American and the plans for America. Clearly, you've been duped, you've been misguided, you've been co-opted. All of these different things, and maybe not even intentionally, right? I mean, in some cases, it's unintentional. The baby boomers, grew up in a time and age where you were taught to believe everything that you saw on TV. I mean, that's our world now. You grew up in a world where the TV told you everything you needed to know, where the radio told you everything you needed to believe. And so as a result of that, you have never been independent. And maybe that's the reason for the general wealth among the baby boomer class, right? It's a payoff. You have been bought off for your beliefs about everything that they told you to believe in. You've been a beneficiary of a system that encouraged you to maintain those beliefs. Just think about it. We've got to come together again. And I'm not sure if this is something that is going to happen for us now, or if we really need to wait for the sunset of the baby boomer, elite baby boomer generational class. But if we don't decide that everybody who's earned a right to be part of our American society can have a piece of it still, and can work and live without the threat of homelessness and poverty, if we can't get to that point, then we are prepared for doom. And I'm gonna call it on this one. I'm gonna let this rest for now. I'll catch you in the next one.